So Hillary Clinton has just admitted that the Democrats are power-hungry monsters that are out of control. And I'm amazed by the things that she's been saying and the way that she's saying them. As if anyone should look at them as a respectable party at all, in any way, shape or form. And I'm not kidding. If I were somehow still attached to the Democrats, like if I were Carl Kalinske, David Pakman, Jimmy Dore, the Young Turks, any of these outlets, I would be disavowing absolutely everything that Clinton has just said here. Listen to some of this crap.
You're here to talk about the crisis in democracy, not just in the United States, but also around the world. Let me just take you back to election night 2016, when you said, we have to give him a chance, we have to let him prove himself and lead, talking about then President-elect Trump. Now you say you think you were overly hopeful. What precisely about democracy has you worried?
Well, really 5 things. And I started worrying at his inauguration, both because of what he said in his speech, which I thought was defiant, defensive, dystopian. It wasn't a speech to bring together people who had not supported him, but instead it was aimed, as I say in my book, what happened at the white nationalist gut. And then, over the course of now 2 years nearly since the election, we have seen him degrading the rule of law. We have seen him delegitimizing our elections. We have seen him spreading corruption, both him personally, his family business, others in his administration.
Hillary Clinton is accusing someone else of corruption. Really? Is that what we're doing? I mean, all I'm saying is, if I was still somehow attached to the Democrats, if I was Bill Maher, Jimmy Dore, Cenk Uygur, Ana Kasparian, Carl Kalinske, David Pakman, any of these sorts of people, I would be looking at what Hillary Clinton is saying and be openly attacking it. I would be disavowing it in the most strident terms. I would say Hillary Clinton is not representative of me or the party that I support, and she has to go, in no uncertain terms. This is absolutely ridiculous.
We have seen him also attacking truth and facts, even reason itself.
Hillary, the radical left openly denounce reason. Openly. They say that it is a white, male, patriarchal, imperialistic construct. They think that there are alternative ways of knowing things. They wonder how exactly the shaman calls the lightning. They are the ones who openly oppose reason. Donald Trump does not have the wherewithal to openly oppose reason. He obviously agrees with it. He's never even thought about the subject, I'm sure, but if you said it to him, he'd be like, well, of course I like reason. Of course I think it's the right thing to do. I've got all the reason, or some shit like that. He is not opposed to reason, Hillary. That's your party. But honest, everything that you say in this interview is going to be a reflection of the Democrats and not an indictment of the Republicans. Because at the end of the day, the Republicans really haven't changed that much. The only difference with the Republicans is Trump's sort of working class insurrection. But on a principle basis, the Republicans are still basically the same.
Fundamentally trying to undermine our national unity. So,
undermine national unity? Really? In an interview where you say the Democrats can't be civil right now, you're worried about Trump undermining national unity, with Maxine Waters encouraging her followers to harass Trump administration officials in public. You say the Republicans aren't interested in national unity, when the Democrats have just openly tried to get a man smeared and removed from his nomination to the Supreme Court, not on the merits of his nomination, but on an allegation that he is a potential sex offender 36 years ago. Totally uncorroborated also, by the way, and an allegation that has now been withdrawn. Yeah, it's the Republicans, Hillary. It's the Republicans. Why won't they just give you what you want?
So I was hopeful. I wanted to give him a chance. I think every new president deserves a chance. But every month that's gone by, I've become more and more worried about how he governs and how he treats people.
Last night, President Trump had a sort of ceremony for now Justice Kavanaugh at the White House, and he apologized on behalf of the American people for the immense amount of pain and harm that he said that the judge had been put through by this system. What do you make of that? And what message, including the president's mocking of Christine Blasey Ford for her allegations, what message does that send to women? And remember, women went for President Trump.
Women don't vote for Hillary Clinton. Some white left-wing women and black women vote for Hillary Clinton. Other women vote for Donald Trump. She is not some kind of fucking representative of women.
In 2016, white women.
White women. All women went for me. And look.
All women went for me. That's literally her opinion. 53% of white women voted Trump, but all women went for her.
White women have been voting against Democratic presidential candidates for decades now.
Gender traitors, everyone. Good job, ladies, by the way. That's a service, guarantees citizenship.
The white vote has only been won twice in the last 60 years, my husband being one of the two, Lyndon Johnson being the other. So it's not a surprise. It's a disappointment, but it's not a surprise. What was done last night in the White House was a political rally. It further undermined the image and integrity of the court. And that troubles me greatly. It saddens me because our judicial system has been viewed as one of the main pillars of our constitutional government. So I don't know how people are going to react to it. I think given our divides, it will pretty much fall predictably between those who are for and those who are against. But the president's been true to form. He has insulted, attacked, demeaned women throughout the campaign, really for many years leading.
Let's say that he has. The Democratic Party has been insulting, attacking, and demeaning men, white people, straight people, cis people for years now. And it's got to the point when you have a Republican administration headed by Donald Trump. That's how badly this strategy has been for the Democrat Party. I mean, like, I'm not even sure there is such a thing as the white vote. You know, I really don't think there is. I think there are ideological reasons people are voting one way or another, and reasons of personal interest. But I don't think that they're thinking, well, I'm a white guy, therefore I vote Republican. I've met a lot of Republicans, and not one of them seems to have even come across that way, at least to me. But anyway, sorry, Hillary, you were telling me about the Democrats' losing strategy.
Leading up to the campaign, and he's continued to do that inside the White House.
Kellyanne Conway, the presidential advisor, talked about this process, and she said it looks very much like a vast left-wing conspiracy. It echoes what you said about when your husband was being pursued by the investigations back in the 90s, a vast right-wing conspiracy. First of all, your comment on that mirrored language. And secondly, do you see any way, even a conservative think who I was speaking of yesterday said the only way to repair America is to try to get back to some civility and to try to make it that even if we have political disagreements, we're not going to war with each other. We're not trying to destroy each other.
Okay, it's not that it's a vast left-wing or vast right-wing conspiracy. It's that they are movements based on values. And all of the people who support the movement agree on certain fundamental values. That's why they support it. And so when it appears that they're all in unison against one person on one issue, it's because they are actually all in unison against that one person for that one issue. It's not they had to conspire. It's a part of a movement. It's a natural facet of being in this kind of worldview. You know, you naturally see a person who is identified and has done certain things as being a certain thing, and you react to them in a certain way. And every group does this. This isn't unique to the Democrats or the Republicans. It's not that it's a vast conspiracy.
Well, certainly I would love to see us return to civility, listening to one another, working out our differences. That is not the Republican Party that exists today, and that is certainly not the administration that we have in power right now.
Oh, really, Hillary? The Republicans just aren't going to listen to how they're terrible for being white or male and white women, and they're not going to listen to how they're all terrible because they don't agree with democratic positions. They don't follow democratic morals, allegedly. You know, this is insane. The idea that she sat there going, well, I mean, basically this is all the Republicans' fault. If they'd just give up and give us what we wanted, none of these problems would be happening. I would love to return to civility. Okay, well, maybe you should start with Maxine Waters. Maybe that's a really clear person to start with. Someone who is unambiguously inciting harassment of the opposition party in social settings. Do you think that would be the primary place to start? That sort of, we are going to attack you no matter where you go because we lost and we can't deal with it mentality. Don't you think that's the most important thing to deal with right now, Hillary? But of course, no, it's the Republicans. They just won't be civil. You know, that's not fucking true at all. Like, it's never been true either, which is funny. Because the Republicans are the people who actually care about interpersonal relationships. They actually care about that. They think that matters. The Democrats have become messianic and become like, I hold the right politics, therefore the way I treat you doesn't matter. I'm defining myself as good because of the things I claim to believe. And that's the justification for every single left-winger who is a fucking piece of shit. That's the problem with the Democratic Party right now. And honestly, the reason I walked away from the left, I can't stand the way they deal with people. I can't stand it.
When the Republican Senate denied the right of President Obama to have his nominee for the Supreme Court, Merrick Garland, heard.
I think you even wrote that they stole a justice from the Democratic Party.
I think they did. I mean, to keep a Supreme Court seat open for a year, to deny a distinguished jurist, they could have voted him down. They could have said, well, for ideological reasons, philosophical reasons, we're not going to vote for him. But no, they stonewalled. And that was such a breach of Senate ethics and the constitutional responsibility of the Senate to advise and consent on nominations, that you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
That is an unbelievable statement. Unbelievably unself-aware. The idea, I mean, like, just listen to the left. Listen to their rhetoric. Listen to the things that they believe. No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. Open borders, abolish ICE, get rid of almost everything, get rid of the police, get rid of the army, get rid of everything that makes America a nation state, get rid of the white majority, get rid of speaking English. Hillary, your party is infested with far-left radicals who hate everything about the United States. They cannot stand it. The Republicans love the mythos of the United States. They love it. And I can understand why. It's pretty fucking respectable in many respects. It's got its negatives, it's got its downsides. It's not perfect, but it's not awful. There are way worse things to approve of, frankly. And these things are residing in the Democratic Party. But God forbid the Democrats win back anything with this kind of attitude. This is an amazingly entitled attitude. How dare you not respect our attempts to tear down everything based on your race and your gender and your sexuality and whatnot. All of these arbitrary characteristics. How fucking dare you? How dare you resist our attacks on you, on your characters, on your identities, on the very thing that makes you you? How dare you turn around and say, you know what, don't care. Not my problem, your problem, get fucked. We're going to go to the voters and talk to them about the issues. We're not going to attack them. We're going to speak to them as real people on about regular things. You know, like the sort of things Donald Trump says at his rallies that he still has to do. We're going to go that way and actually appeal to voters, and lo and behold, they have everything. And now the Democrats have nothing. And now they are screaming like a bunch of fucking revolutionaries, going, we're going to burn it all, tear it all down, harass everyone, fight, fight, fight. And you're like, well, we're not going to have civility until they get it back. That's a fucking threat, Hillary. You are threatening the American public with violence and demagoguery and domestic upheaval because you guys can't get your way. You can't get people to vote for hurting their own interests. Well, big fucking deal. Maybe if your platforms weren't so unbelievably ridiculous, unbelievably radical. I mean, the Democratic Party is being swept by socialism right now. Something like 57% of Democrats think socialism is a great idea. How? Like, how? It's because the centre-left in the Democratic Party lost every argument. They agreed, well, I mean, maybe we can sit there and make racial judgments. Where's the moral justification in that? Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, honestly, the Democratic Party is a dangerous and unstable force full of massively corrupt people who do actually want to do damage to the country in order to right some kind of historic wrong that they think they are the ones to fix, which I'm telling you they're fucking not, and it's just going to cause more problems down the road. It's not a solution that will prevent further racial discrimination. It's a solution that will just simply flip the balance of power, and then in 50 or 100 years time, however long it will be, they'll be like, well, white people are being oppressed by non-white people. And it's like, yes, exactly, that's what the point was. The whole problem is going, right, race is a legitimate vector of attack for us to conduct a political campaign. Gender is it's not. It's absolutely not. No. The state should be blind to race and gender. End of story.
But until then, the only thing that the Republicans seem to recognize and respect is strength.
Unfucking believable. She's literally here demanding the threat of riots and violence and the further destruction of the American Republic, that the Democrats be given some power within the House, within the Senate, within the fucking, the judiciary. She is demanding it at threat of riots and violence. And then she's like, well, all the Republicans respect is power. That's all the Democrats are about. The Democrats can't define a single word without factoring power into it now. It's either race is power plus prejudice, gender is power plus prejudice, all of this. They can't define any of it without power because they have become obsessed with power. They are not making arguments anymore. They are making demands, and they are making threats to back up these demands. This is unbelievable and wildly dangerous, and every sane Democrat left should be like, okay, I do not agree with what Hillary's saying here, and you honestly should come out and openly resist this. You need to start rolling back the radical elements of your party and explaining to them that they can't be the ones leading the conversation from the Democratic point of view. That's what's destroying the left wing, and has been for years, which is what I have been speaking out for years. This is why I posted on my Facebook page the other day. Look, I prefer centre-right Republicans to far-left radicals. It's just the way I feel. Just the far-left radicals are fucking unbearable. They want ridiculous things, and they seem to harbour deep-seated grievances that, frankly, they need to go see a psychologist about. Not like the centre-right Republicans who are just saying the same things they've always said. And these things haven't lost their value. There's no less virtue in being a Republican but there is a hell of a lot less virtue in being a Democrat. And it used to be that the Democrats were all right. I mean, I did this interview with Steve Bannon, right? Steve Bannon would be a member of the Labour Party 50 years ago in my country. You know, he would have been a member of the Labour Party. He is now a radical far right, person apparently, because he's just interested in helping the little guy. The Democrats have lost sight of all of this. The Democrats have gone wild with their racial and gendered ideology and socialism, and they really have, they've gone beyond the pale. What they're doing, the things they're saying, the things Hillary's saying right now, this is way outside of the bounds of what a democratic country can stand and still maintain a democracy. And it's up to the citizenry to abandon the Democrats. It's up to you, the voter, to say, look, I'm not doing this. Hashtag walk away.
And you heard how the Republican members, led by Mitch McConnell, the president, really demeaned the confirmation process, insulted and attacked not only Dr. Ford, but women who were speaking out. Look, I remember Republican operatives shutting down the voting in Florida in 2000. I remember the swift boating of...
Let's just assume that everything she's saying is true. Sure, these are dirty political tactics. I agree. They should be called out. I agree. We should do everything we can to avoid these kind of political tactics in future from people who are not the Bush administration, because they're not coming back, thank fuck. I agree. I'm in complete agreement. But that's not the same as harassing other people. That's not the same as bullying people. That's not the same as what the left is doing right now. I mean, look at this, right? A truck in Vancouver that had pro-Trump stickers was set on fire with an anti-Trump message spray painted on the side of it. That's not even in America. This is another country, and this kind of attitude, this all or nothing, power for power's sake, Hail Mary, revolutionary attitude that the left has taken has to stop. It's not going to win any elections, and you're not going to be actually able to overthrow any governments, so fucking stop before you destroy yourselves completely.